Hey, thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Justin Miller and I am here with Tim Doherty. Tim, how's it going?
It's going good, Justin. Glad to be here today to talk about some more Wowza utility functionality.
Yes, and this time we'll be talking about a module, specifically the module S3 upload. Now, this has gone by many names, but as you can guess, it is made to upload files to S3.
Definitely. I sometimes I call it file mover because previous to using this really cool module that actually authenticates Wowza directly to S3, we used to have to mount the Google Fuse file system and use file mover, which is a great utility, that file mover module, but it's more where do you want the file to go? And you can put in different directories. It can be local, it can be NAS or network attached storage. And of course, if you're mounted, you can do S3. But what we're going to go over today is actually how to connect Wowza to S3. So when you're done with the recording, it ends up in S3, which is a gigantic repository, extremely unlimited. And you can play them back if you'd like to from Wowza Streaming Engine. So it's a great setup.
And certainly for many people who like to stay within an Amazon environment, this is definitely a great tool because many people, I think already our own customers, are currently having their Wowza Streaming Engine instances running on Amazon EC2, and to upload or transfer files, I guess, from Amazon EC2 to an S3 bucket is very fast.
It is, and that's what we're doing today. You're actually looking in my screen share at a Windows 2019 server in Amazon EC2. So we're going to be doing that exactly today. And I think you're 100% correct. It's more like a file transfer when you're inside an EC2 instance going over to S3. Technically, it's an upload, but it's so fast inside the Amazon environment that it feels like a transfer. Now, one thing I also want to note is this functionality can also be applied and set up with other service providers like Azure and Google. We're just focusing in specifically on S3 for this particular demonstration.
Right. You could be uploading this from your local host or, from any cloud environment, really.
Yeah, that's a good point too. You can set this up on a standalone server on premise and upload to Amazon S3 using the exact method that we're going to go through today. Why don't we dive into it?
Yep, let's take a look.
So this is the article. It's in our Wowza documents library. You can see the route to it here in our API and SDK, Wowza Streaming Engine Java API module examples. And the headline of the article speaks exactly what we're doing. Upload recorded media to an Amazon S3 bucket with a Wowza Streaming Engine Java module. Now, Java, it implies there's some complexity, and a Java developer definitely could talk to you about that. But in this case, this is a pre-compiled module, so it's really easy for a guy like you and me to set up and begin working with. And that's what we're going to do here immediately. So in this article, particularly in getting started, they want us to download the upload module code, which I've already done. You can see I have my downloads folder here. So there's the code that I downloaded, and then here's it's a rather large file, the Java SDK from AWS. We don't need the entire SDK. In point 4, it just says take this file here, which is the AWS Java SDK and version.jar. Those X's are variables because the version of the file could change over time. And put that into the lib folder in Wowza as well. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We've downloaded the files over here in the downloads folder. So since I'm in Windows, this is really easy. If you're in Linux, you're going to have to actually set up your own unzip scheme. Every variation of Linux is different. You may be using the command line. You may be using, say Ubuntu desktop or something like that. So you might be off to a different world. But right now, I'm just going to double click on the zip here in Windows, go into the lib folder, grab that code. Inside Wowza Streaming Engine, this is what the install directory looks like. So often we're interacting with conf and content. Right now, this is the lib folder. So we'll double click that. And I'm just going to drag it from the archive into the lib folder. So it copies that over really quickly. I'm going to go back up and I'm going to do the same thing from within this file here. Now, note something. This file is 669 megabytes. If you go to unzip the entire file, your server will spin up and you'll be waiting and burning resources to get this one file. So I'm going to double click here. It absolutely could. So here's the lib folder, just like the instructions say, Java SDK and the version. So I'm going to drag that into my lib folder. And you'll see a little extraction because that's, just a few bits of information. So we've got the SDK and we've got the upload jar. So that's the installation step. Now we're going to move on to configuration, which is going into the application in Wowza Streaming Engine and actually setting it up. So just to give you the lay of the land, Wowza Streaming Engine Manager, we're logged in, we're using the current version. I go into my application, standard live application. This one's called Live Record, it's pre-existing. When you click on this link here, you can see Setup, Properties, and Modules. We're going to be interacting with these two tabs. So I'm going to go ahead and, according to these instructions, I'm going to install the actual module itself. So that means I need to take this, the name, the description, and the class name, and transcribe that over into Wowza Manager. So I'm going to copy that, go to Modules, Edit, Add Module. There's the name, description. We'll go ahead and grab that. Now this can be anything. I'm going to do it by the book here, but you can abbreviate this if you're doing it on your own. But you cannot abbreviate the class name. It has to be exactly verbatim what you're seeing in this table. Copy. Looks like I moved the window here. Let me get that back in place. Oh, I actually pulled the window out of the tab there. Okay. And I'll paste that. So we've got the upload. Make sure you save it.
Looks like we have it in place.
Yeah, that's because I was working on it earlier, but the same principle applies. You have your properties and the modules that you drop in here. So looks like I got in front of myself. I might have the properties in here still from before. Looks like I don't. So same thing with the properties. I did that a little quick, so I'll slow it down. You were working on the module. You have module S3 upload installed. We move over to the properties, to custom, edit, add custom property. I'm going to slow down a little bit here because there are some details that are important to note when you're setting up a property. First of all, in these properties here, we only need the first three to get the S3 upload module working. There are several other properties in here that are of great value. For example, there's one down here called S3 upload delete original files. So what Wowza is doing is it's recording an MP4 to the local hard drive. And then when the file is completed, this module will upload it to S3. Maybe you don't want that file to be there anymore. You want to save disk space. You would simply set this from false to true, and you would set it up just like I'm setting up properties right now. So I'm going to grab this first one, which is root application, and I'm going to note that it's a string. And then there's the description, which you don't need to copy over. So I'm going to copy this, put the name, which I'm pasting, and then the value, which I have over here in a text file. So there's the access key. So we'll copy that text and paste it, add, and then we're going to do another one, add custom property. Based on this, it wants to know the secret key. So we'll copy that as well. And I have that over here in that text file. This is kind of functionally speaking, it's a username and a password. And that's been set up in Amazon. If you're doing this, it's sensitive information. I'm going to delete these credentials when we're done. So never give this out to anybody. We'll go ahead and paste that. I'm just going to kind of give it a once over. It looks like I've got it right. So there's my two properties. And then one more property it needs is the bucket name. It needs to know where in S3 to send the information. So I'm going to add a property here, S3 bucket name. I also have that preset in my text file. It can be any bucket that you have access to in your account. Hit
so that's
add.
an already created bucket that you have?
It is.
Okay.
I'm in Amazon S3, and earlier I created this bucket called My Wowza Recordings.
So if it didn't exist, it wouldn't be created. You'd have to.
Correct. You would have to do it from the S3 management console.
Okay.
To be sure. Yes. So I've got those three, and make sure you save it. Now, right now, it's asking me to restart the application. That's somewhat of a default prompt when you change a property. But to be sure, I'm going to restart. Now, I can restart if I go over here to Server and Server Setup. The best practice for restarting in Windows is to actually go into the Services Management Console, find Wowza Streaming Engine. Now, there's two in here. There's Wowza Streaming Engine Manager, which we don't need to restart, and then there's Wowza Streaming Engine. I'm just going to restart here. So that just really forces a refresh. It's going to pick up those files that we moved earlier from downloads into the lib folder. and we should have a nice fresh restart going here.
And on Linux, I think you can do that from a command prompt, right?
In Linux, yes. Service, Wowza Streaming Engine, stop, start, restart, and then different variations of Linux may have different conventions and commands to restart a service. But yes, functionally, I prefer to do it at the OS level. So, and also another reason I do that is not everyone uses Wowza Streaming Engine Manager to set this up. We're actually manipulating using the REST API configuration files within the Wowza configuration folder. So, there's another reason if you get away from using Manager, it's always a good idea just kind of teach yourself how to reset it at the OS. Sorry to take so much time on that. So anyway, we're up and running. I've got an incoming stream coming in. I have Wirecast actually running here on the machine. So this is just sending in this, you'll recognize it when we play back. It's just sending in this demo content. And I have my stream and my stream 1080. Transcoder happens to be running. I'm going to record this. This is just like the demo we did the other day, Justin, on live stream record. Same exact concept.
And for those who want to know more about this process of recording your streams, definitely check out the videos or the documentation that we have available. It'll show you not only how to set up the recording process like we're doing right now within the manager, but also how to do it using the API. So there are definitely a number of ways that you can not only record, but you can segment those recordings.
Absolutely. Yeah, lots of cool tools in there. While this is recording, I'm just going to keep myself honest. Over here in S3, there's only one file in here. I'll refresh. You can see there's only one file. Now, the expected outcome when I press stop is that file transfer is happening or has already happened. And I'll jump back over here to S3, and I'll hit refresh. And there's my file, mystream.mp4. You can see that I have an incoming stream called mystream. I had just recorded it. There it is. We've completed it, and as you can see, it's that simple. It's uploaded to Amazon S3.
All right, that was pretty quick too.
Yeah, definitely. And do you want to see it played back, Justin?
I would love to. So are we going to see it play back through our Wowza Streaming Engine VOD application?
Definitely. We're not going to do a progressive download. We're actually going to go in here and play it back as packaged Apple HLS. So what I like to do to be sure it's working is I'll go in here and I'll make the object public. In a deeper session, we could go in and talk about authentication and using those keys I was talking about earlier. But right now, I just made the object public. So when I click this URL, you can see that it's playing. And that's a link to the MP4 file. If you're on an iPhone, if you're on a poor performing network, or you just don't want to download a very large file, progressive download's not the way to go. That's why Wowza exists, because we package video and actually stream it. So what we have in Wowza, I'll just show you really quick. We have a second here. We have a module called Media Cache and Media Cache Sources, and I have already set one up. It has a base path, mywowzarecordings.s3.amazon.com, just like this URL here, mywowzarecordings. There it is right there. And then I have it on open, so I'm not using authentication at this time. And then it uses this prefix in the streaming URL. And what it does is Wowza will go to this base path, grab the MP4, and it'll begin packaging it into Apple HLS. I'll show you how this works. Over here in Theo Player, I have it already set up, ready to go. You can see that it's going to my Wowza server using a Streamlock domain. This is the application called BOD S3. So inside your Wowza application set, you can see there's a BOD S3. It's a BOD Edge application, and then it's using all media cache sources. So here, excuse me, when I call that application BOD S3, I'm looking for an MP4 with that alias to the S3 bucket. So the alias is Amazon S3. So again, I'm just going to show you this. I know it's somewhat repetitively. Amazon S3 actually means that base path. And I've got that set up. So Amazon S3, mystream.mp4. I should be able to load the stream. And that's what we just recorded. It's only 40 seconds long, as you can see. So, gosh, I shoved a lot in there. But it's fun to be able to see the cause and effect, right?
Yeah,
we can record a video.
Absolutely. this sort of
transport a video, play it back.
this sort of helps finish off our discussion on, okay, we've uploaded, or rather we've recorded, and now we are able to upload it to the S3, and now from there we're able to make those VOD assets available for everybody to watch.
That's correct.
That's great.
Yeah, and I think that closes the loop on what we were going to present here today. If anyone has questions, the last thing I want someone to do with Wowza Streaming Engine is be frustrated and feel isolated and alone. Reach out to support@wowza.com. We have a phenomenal group of technical resources that can help you with questions. If you're pre-sales and you're working with a sales engineer, definitely hit them up. Hey, I'm trying to hook up Media Cache. I'm trying to get this S3 transfer going. I've got a trial license. Definitely communicate with us. We're here and we're very eager to help you.
Absolutely. Tim, thank you for joining me and showing me all of this great stuff. This is amazing. And to all of you, thanks for watching and happy streaming.